Hey there, happy Monday. I am Marina Ormes here with your Astro vibe for Monday, March 27th. The moon is in Gemini, and yesterday I gave you a lot of information. So if you missed yesterday's video, I covered the topic of really a fascinating topic of how astrology can give us information about the future, what it tells us about the future, what it can tell us, what it can't tell us, and how we can work consciously with that information to make the most of it. So lots of kind of mind-boggling details about the planets and how they relate to each other and unfold during their cycles in time and the qualities that time bring us. So kind of a Gemini way of thinking, right? Lots and lots of information, but fascinating because it really does give us a bird's eye view, a big picture of what astrology really is and what it isn't, right? What it can do and what it can't do. So here we are today with the moon in Gemini. We are experiencing themes of change and a week of change. We have had last week many shifting energies and new developments and things that are kind of exciting and shake things up a little bit. We had the spring equinox, which is the time when the sun goes into Aries. We had the Aries new moon. We had Pluto going into Aquarius. Historical shift, hasn't been in Aquarius since the 1770s, 1780s, 90s. And then finally Mars going into Cancer on Saturday. So check out last week's videos if you missed any of them, for just to get yourself up to speed with what's been going on, what's shaking and moving and changing in the world of astrology, but also the world of our experience and what is showing up. So to work with these energies, we are in the moon cycle that began with the new moon in Aries last week. And that is the energy, and this moon cycle brings the energy of new beginnings, of starting things, of rebirth, of emergence, of will and drive to become, to live, to be. And so how noticing today and this week, how that is showing up for you, how that is unfolding. What have you felt an urge or an instinct or an impulse to take action on, and how did that go? So not beating yourself up, right? Maybe you did things that you felt were a little impulsive, or maybe not as well thought through as you would have ideally liked, but maybe you learned some things that you wouldn't have learned if you hadn't done that. So just reflecting on where you are and what you're noticing, which Gemini is great for noticing things. It's good for paying attention, for learning, for asking questions and getting curious. So notice what you're learning about what your actions are teaching you. So what does it feel like to try things? What does it feel like to take some risks? Where, if any discomfort comes up, where is that coming up and why? Where does that discomfort come from? Because it's just you being you, right? You don't need to be uncomfortable. We just get uncomfortable because of these internalized judgments and criticisms and expectations that we have from the world around us. So when you let go of all that stuff and you recognize that, hey, this is just about me being me, it really, you can relax about a lot of it. Some of the worry and stress about whether you're worthy or whether the world is going to accept you. It's like, I don't know, with this Aries moon cycle, we want to just be thinking about, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think. It's about your own inner self and your will to be who you are. So following that, noticing what comes from that. And also starting new things. What new projects, what new directions are you feeling or taking some action steps on? And so moving into those, what are you noticing as you begin things? They may continue and develop fully into what you imagine, and they may not. So it's not about being attached to the outcome. It's more about taking those steps to move forward, because you will learn more by action than you will by sitting around hoping that things will change. So this is the part of the zodiac that reminds us of that. Got to do stuff. And you won't necessarily have it all figured out when you need to do stuff. So go for it. And with this moon in Gemini, it's perfect time to gather information, to think about what's going on, to reflect on and ask questions about the actions you've been taking, what that looks and feels like, what it means for who you are, what you want to do differently. That's all, right? It's an opportunity to take action, notice how it felt, see if you want to make any changes, and then take another action, right? And it really doesn't have to be complicated. And Aries is not complicated. Aries is just the will to be. That's really all it is. It doesn't overthink. It doesn't think at all. It acts without thinking. So spontaneous and direct discovery. So the way that you discover is through doing it. And that is what we're working on this moon cycle. So last moon cycle began with a new moon in Pisces, and we were focused on getting in touch with a bigger picture, right? And feeling the flow and letting go and remembering what our hearts want and why that's important. And now all of that comes into this moon cycle where it's like, okay, I hope that you did that work to think about what's important to you, because now you're going to take action. And if you're not taking action on what's important to you, then you might be wasting some time or going down a path that's not very fruitful. Again, not a bad thing either, but we can, by doing what the planets bring when they bring it, we can make the most of these ongoing cycles. So we had the moon cycle of letting go and getting in touch with what our hearts want. And now we have the moon cycle of emergence and action. As we head into the Cancer moon, we are going to also experience the square, or the first quarter moon. And that will be our sort of first reckoning or conflict, or coming up against something that will push us to discover more about who we are. And so over the next day or two, you might notice how that is showing up for you. Is there something showing up that feels difficult or challenging, or brings up some conflict? Because it is inviting you to see things differently, to shift your perspective, to maybe shift your approaches or your beliefs, or something about the way you are going about things. And again, it doesn't mean you have to do it right. It just means you need to listen to yourself and where that inner place of action and courage is coming from. I think last week, we talked about the three things, the three ways to align with the Aries energy. One was, let me see if I can remember this. One was, you don't have to be perfect. Two was, it doesn't matter what others think. And three was, it comes from within. So let it come from within. Notice what that feels like. Maybe notice if anything gets in the way of that and where that might come from, because maybe it's something in there to be let go of as you step more fully into your truth and who you are. So don't forget to check out yesterday's video if you missed it. I went in depth on the archetypes of astrology and how all this works, really gave you the big picture overview. And then last week's Sunday video gave you a heads up of all the changes that are happening last week, which we are now on the other side of. So you may enjoy that. You may want some perspective on where we're at, and that will give it to you. So thank you so much for being here and for subscribing to this YouTube channel, for your interest in my work. You can learn more about me at Astrology Heals. I've got information about a special offer that is a good opportunity to work with me in depth, to learn about your chart and how to implement it in your life. Many other ways to work with me, and you can also purchase my books that walk you through this as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. We're here every day with the astrology of unshakable self-care. Bye for now.